Welcome to the voice of light, the voice of evolution, the voice that is coming through every angle of society. So, today I'd like to talk about what is keeping your brains from moving into your next stage in evolution, and that is certainly not moving on survival and fear, because if you have survival and fear in your consciousness, that is what you will stream up and so not survive the planet. Eliminating that old consciousness that thrives on a system that no longer works is all we need to do together as we are unifying. So here, and that is not a task too difficult to do. We will never ask anything that doesn't match what you are ready for or not. But slowly and sure, we are moving the old system backstage, and we are opening up our consciousness to where it needs to be. Because overriding or bringing the old system backwards, like pharmaceutical industries that are killing our brains, like the ecological system that has been broken down to the highest levels of atrocity, like the animal kingdoms that have been killed. So universal laws have always stated to move into equality on every level, and so do not kill what you do not want to be seen killed in yourself. If you're killing the animal kingdoms, you're killing yourself essentially, because you're eating that food. If you're killing nature, it will not feed you with the necessary nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. Essentially, if we kill the entire ecological system and looking what the organism in the end has to offer, there is little left to feed our bodies, to sustain our health, our wealth, and certainly our immune system. And that particular spirit logic has been lost in most brains. People have lost the ability to think on the higher degrees or open up the philosophical wombs that state equality, that bring justice through, that state equal businesses in economy and support each other. What we are experiencing on the airplane right now is a high degree of stress factors and emotions, because people were never educated on how to deal with emotions. If we look at the economical system that is going down, the health system that is going down, especially the educational system, and it is timed, it really went down, because we are not allowing that anymore, and it's up to us to offer something new. And reason why we've been put in quarantine is to go, not only going within, but truly going within self and acknowledging what we have been doing wrong on the planet and how we need to repair all that stuff. Beyond all that is that nature is repairing, the animal kingdom is repairing, And the inside stories with people and families being in quarantine is being revealed. A lot that people never wanted to deal with is coming to the forefront. Fake relationships. Always putting the attention to something unimportant in life and removing everything that is important is going to be eliminating. People are being confronted with their present day mental status, and that is running rampant in many, many households. And so we confront ourselves with our persona because character and attitude has not been educated. We have been educated in becoming robots in the educational system in the first place. I have interviewed many, many students and that were in tears because they stated they had no freedom of speech in any high educational system, and certainly not in a PhD. I was talking to many in their degrees of the PhD, and I said, like, what is your passion? What gives you most of the joy? Because that must be something that is primordial, actually. That should be your essence before education. And because otherwise, what would be your essence or your worth on the planet? It cannot possibly be that we are being born to get some sort of education, to get a family, kids and all that stuff, than just to die and get in a coffin on the ground. That has never been so and will not ever return unless we take responsibility. And so this quarantine so-called stuff, I enjoy it actually, because I've been like it all of my life, is just to confront you, to create a higher status in life, a status where we return into our true powerful essence. And so the system is fearful about us actually. They fear us because our essence, our power, our truth is coming on stage. And so removing them or putting them in the backyard is what is happening essentially. So what we can do here is especially move into a higher attitude. And that can only be done while moving into our essence, which is the psychology of light, the consciousness of light, and to remove all these old emotions like survival, like hatred, like fear on every degree of society. And that fear will augment every day because the media and social media is imprinting it in new imprints. It breaks the imprints. Their digital outputs cannot go anywhere if we cut out the news and do our part in society. So we are being asked to cut out the emotional body and move into the higher senses, the higher sensitivity and higher level intelligence, intuition, and reinstall our inner psyche. If we do that and we open up the light in our body and create a light body actually through a construction that is termed a grid. A grid in divine consciousness overrides the grid of the matrix. And so not many understand that, and it is a very important item actually to start understanding beyond the levels you have been educated in. If we build a new car, what you can find on the Google machine is ley lines, a grid construction that first constructs the car, then put in a motor mechanism, then some oil, some water and all that stuff. The same goes for the body. So a grid is actually a network of lines that cross each other from a series, let's say, of squares or other geometrical patterns. And these patterns can grow when we detoxify the physical from any constraint along the release of ego, which is actually the emotional body. Stepping out of ego is the hardest thing for people, and yet it is so simple if we take that decision. And so this lifetime is actually all about moving from ego into full-time spirit consciousness. The spiritual sciences or scientific avenues are loading down to earth. So when you decide today to really open up a space for connection with your source, because you have lost your source connection when you're living in ego. Your source is something so pure in the universe. It is a pulsation which one can feel on the parental lobes and every lobe, the whole brain. And we can only feel that moving through when the old essences or old avenues have left the arena, which is setting up a simple light body through your breathing system, through your chakras, and then in your energy fields. From there on, you can build that light grid that crushes the matrix in a way that nobody can touch you, in a way that you become the eternal healer to yourself. You become an eternal light being, and that needs constructing from one day into the other, from 1 month into the other, and then you get so strong in which you can educate self how to release the old emotions, how to release the old attachment to old foods. And it is so interesting to do that, to grow with your source, your spark self and your spirit, and open these codes, because once you have installed these crystalline grids, they will grow, they will move with you, and they will grow so strong so you can install myriads of other grids and work with them. As we can see right now, there's many people that have meditated for more than 20-30 years, and they gotten so strong in consciousness, and they hold these grids. It's like you have a car around you, and wherever you move, these grids, these crystalline grids that are pure consciousness, that are pure justice, that load the purity in the body to pure foods. There is so much to it, and when you ground them on the planet, it squeezes the falseness out, it squeezes the old systems out, and that is very, very important to move into. So also here I have a 5-day or something online with many MP3s to reinstall that, to get into the purity beyond the nonsense catapulted on social media especially, and in your newscast. And get into the evolution of the planet and the universe, and thus your own evolution. So if we eliminate the that hormone and we start eliminating fear on an everyday level, because there's a whole list of fears, right? Fear of losing your job, fear of not being sustainable, fear of your children getting hurt, fear of losing friendships. Fear is so much embedded, and it is so easy to just catapult that out of your glandular construction. From there on, we can rebuild the nervous system, and you get stronger, because we have to release old connections that are no good for our embodiment, for our mentality, that cuts us down. Why do you think so many are losing their business? Why do you think so many people are getting employed? Because that whole economic system needs to definitely change and allow the stress hormone to be released permanently. Because most people live under the stress hormone, and even like that, because that way they do not have to confront themselves with their authentic mentality and atrocive attitudes many times. And business was never meant to run on stress, especially where people are doing 3 or 4 jobs at the same time. It is not respectful. There is no dignity in that, and certainly not integrity. And so we need to stop to compare stuff. We need to fuse with our own faculties or specialties and fuse them into business without any level of stress. So that is where we're heading into, and I hope really that educational systems, any school from kindergarten into universities, are going to open up their doors to get this education in, where we can release the emotional body and become sentient beings that have a high level qualities, intelligence and wisdom to bring new health on the planet in the first place. So growing forest gardens in universities should at least be a must. Growing these gardens in every city should be a must. And educating people in the natural food industry. No plastics, certainly no supplements, because they kill the body as much as medication does, because it numbs you. It numbs the nervous system, it clutters the blood circulation system, and it breaks your skeletal structure, construction into pieces. So here, go ahead, read about or listen to the video about the grids, how you can set up simple things and start something out today, and make that decision that you can move with the ones who will stay on the airplane for a long, long time, and understand that this coronavirus is just a first wave of evacuation. If you don't want to be into that and open up your breath a million miles, so to speak, then it's time you educate yourself and take that responsibility. You don't have to change overnight, but you can take little steps every day regarding your individual food industry, regarding your respect and direct connect back to your source and many other sources and forces. Because when you install a grid in meditation and you allow the elimination of fear and ego and many other emotions, these forces have something to step in. If you don't build that, how can they step in? It's the same like saying, if you're inviting friends, right, in your home, and you don't have a home to host them, how is that going to happen? I hope you understand it that way a bit, because understanding comes when installing it. And so I also have this MP3 warning, installing that grid, making it stronger, bringing new grids in. And so in every chakra system, there is so much we can do. And that is how intelligence will move up into the planet. It is timed right now because the universes are moving back into order, and so it can be no other than that we are being requested big time to move our essence or light consciousness and light essence back into order from the old mental notes or old psychology, and breaking that down, moving up into the beauty that you are. And that is your spark self that returns to the universe and universes, and planting that down underground, because that is happening to many, many people. And that is reason why the old system will certainly not make it. It will break you if you don't take responsibility. So let's take the shift, bring the courage through, and move into your strength, and you'll be very happy, because it makes you happy when you can talk to many, many species, and when you can remember your essence and your power. Thank you.